So today we're going to talk about cells, more specifically about plant cells. Elements of a cell. There are two major groups of cells, which are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Also, there are three tenets of cell theory, which are that all living organisms are made of one or more cells. The cell is the basic unit of life, and that cells come from other cells. This is called the law of biogenesis. There are two general kinds of cells, plant cells and animal cells. We are going to focus on the basics of plant cells. Plant cells are eukaryotic cells, or cells with membrane-bound organelles. Typically, plant cells are larger than animal cells. Plant cells contain plastids, which help in plant storage. Plant cells contain chlorophyll, which gives plants their green color. What are organelles? Organelle literally translates to little cell, meaning that they make up a cell. Organelles are small structures in a cell that operate like organs, carrying out special tasks. Each organelle does a different function to help the cell stay alive. One organelle in the plant cell is the cell membrane. The structure is that it is a bilipid membranous layer made up of protein and carbohydrates. It is like a liquid. The function is that the cell membrane separates the cell from its external environment and controls what gets in and what comes out of the cell. Small molecules can pass freely, but large ones cannot. The membranes keep the cell moist so that it doesn't dry out. Receptors in the membrane allows the cell to signal or communicate. Another organelle in the plant cell is the cell wall. The structure of this is a rigid organelle made up of cellulose that lies on the outside of the cell membrane. This gives the plant cell a box-like shape. The function of the cell wall contains pores which allow material to pass to and from the cell membrane. It also provides strength and structure to the plant cell. Elements of a cell. The next organelle. There are two major groups of cells, is the lysosomes, which are prokaryotes. The structure of the lysosomes are phospholipids. Also, there are three tenets of cell theory, internal enzymes, which are that all living organisms are made of one or more cells of enzymes. The cell function is the basic unit of life, essentially, and food processor. That cells come from other cells, which is also called the function of an enzyme is to break down or digest whatever they are exposed to. Ribosomes are the next organelle in a plant cell. Ribosomes are composed of two different subunits, which are the large subunit and the small subunit. They are found individually in the cytoplasm, and they also line the membranes of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The function is that they could be thought of as protein factories. Ribosomes are also the place where protein synthesis occurs. Now here is the nucleus. This is the largest organelle in a plant cell. The nucleus is surrounded by a double membrane called the nuclear envelope or membrane. The nucleus contains genetic information on DNA strands, along with other proteins which form chromosomes. The function is that this is the control center of the cell. The nucleus aids cell metabolism and reproduction. Here are the vascular and vesicle organelles. The structure of the vascular and vesicles are membranous bubbles. They are fluid-filled organelles enclosed by a membrane. The function of them is to store materials like food, water, sugar, minerals, and waste products. They are also used for transportation of materials within a cell. The next organelle in a plant cell is mitochondria. The structure of mitochondria is a tube-like organelle surrounded by a double membrane with the inner membrane folded up into cristae. The function of mitochondria is considered to be the powerhouse of the cell. It releases energy from the food molecules to be used by the cell, which is cellular respiration. From cellular respiration, you get ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. The next organelle is cytoskeleton. The structure of a cytoskeleton is a group of different protein strands, which are microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. Microtubules are what make up the centrioles in the cell. They are the base of both the flagella and cilia of the cell, and they form a path that the transport vesicle moves along. The microfilaments is what helps the cell move. The intermediate filaments is what provides strength and support for the fragile structures of the cell. The function of a cytoskeleton is to stabilize and maintain the cell. Golgi body is another organelle in a plant cell. The structure of a Golgi body is a flattened phospholipid membrane that is layered and arranged like a stack of pancakes. The function of a Golgi body is the protein processing and packaging or shipping center of the cell. The Golgi body temporarily stores protein which then leaves the cell via vesicles as needed. It also manufactures lysosomes. The last organelle I'm going to talk about is the endoplasmic reticulum. The structure of the endoplasmic reticulum, also known as ER, is the network of membranes. It is the transport system of the cell. The function of the endoplasmic reticulum carries material throughout the cell. There are two types of ER. Rough ER, this is involved with protein synthesis and processing. The rough ER contains ribosomes. There's also smooth ER. This is involved with lipid processing. The smooth ER does not contain ribosomes. This picture shows some of the organelles that we talked about in a plant cell.